Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone there. Hello there. This is Data Set and Insight speaking. My name is Julio Lassi, and I'm here with Louis McGarry. So first of all,
Right.
hello, Louis. How are you doing?
Yeah, doing very well, thank you. What about yourself?
Fantastic. Great, honestly, great. I cannot complain any more than today. So honestly, I
Good.
want to just have a quick conversation about what you do at Centiel, what else the company does, and there's some further questions down the line. So let's take it away.
Cool. Okay. So, well, hopefully a lot of people know who Centiel are.
Of course.
Centiel are a Swiss manufacturer predominantly of UPS products, UPS systems. They pitch themselves as a technology-based company, so all about innovation, latest technologies, what else can be brought into the market. Our location, we still manufacture in Switzerland. I think
Fantastic.
we're one of the very few companies that are still able to manufacture in a European environment. Obviously, as you know, it's more cost effective to manufacture in other countries, sorry. But for us, the ability to have a product that is Swiss made and have that stamp of Swiss made on it
Of course.
is extremely important to us. It underpins everything that says quality.
100% agree. Thank you very much. And your title as well, just for everyone to know.
So I'm the sales and marketing director for Centiel UK. So
Okay.
Centiel UK are a wholly owned subsidiary of the factory. So effectively, we are the manufacturer, and I work for them.
Fantastic. Great to know. So I'm going to jump straight into it. So first question, when you have a customer choosing a UPS today, what are the most important factors you see guiding their decision making outside of hardware selection itself? For instance, does it come down to service contracts, speed of delivery, and let's say wider supply chain?
Yeah, it's a bit of $1 million question, that, isn't it?
Of course.
So it depends what sector we're working in. It's sort of a given now that the race for efficiencies and footprint need to be like literally class leading. So although we are right at the top of that, we are class leading in that field. It's a bit of a given, and I think a lot more companies are looking, and whether that's banking and finance, data centers, medical, whatever vertical you're in, I think people are looking at the total cost of ownership a lot more, understanding what they're procuring and
Yeah.
how they're going to live with that product for 10, 15,
Yeah.
20, maybe even 30
Longevity is the aim
years.
of the game.
Right. So not only do you have to do a lot of homework to make sure your CapEx spend on your actual hardware is there, you're choosing the right product. It's then picking the product that you are going to live with, how you're going to manage your energy with that product, and how you're going to live with a company that has provided you with that product. We're seeing a lot of people looking into how we service UPSs. So I think the way that UPSs will be serviced will change. So, for example, our latest product is StratusPower. It's a true modular UPS. It's scalable to the nth degree, pretty much. But it's got so many points of monitoring on that system that maybe you don't need an engineer turning up twice a year to service that machine. It's giving you as much information. I wouldn't say a UPS product is maintenance free these days. You still need an engineer to turn up. The battery, the energy storage unit associated with the UPS needs to be looked at because over time
Degradation
you might
going on.
get
Yeah, of course.
exactly, you got it. But the physical UPS itself, it's almost to the point where the UPS is going to tell you when it needs to be serviced. We're not quite there yet, but we're pretty much there. So I always say to people, the most important tool, the most cost-effective tool, and the most valuable tool that you've got is monitoring. So plugging in a network card into the UPS, letting it dial out, giving you the information, going up to the UPS with your tablet or your iPhone and downloading via Bluetooth a service report directly from it. All these monitoring things about living with the UPS and getting the customer to understand their equipment more is sort of becoming like vital. And I think that's where the industry is going to change when it comes to servicing. So StratusPower now. It's we'll probably talk about this later. UPSs need overhaul, typically around about 5 to 6 years. So capacitors and fans need replacing. They are consumable items, of course, battery as well, but we'll put that aside for a minute. Now with StratusPower, we're stating as a manufacturer that you can push your UPS to 15 years without an overhaul, which for most products on the market you're doing 2 overhauls in that time frame, which is a lot of money when you're spending on, operational expenditure. And, people are really worried about potential system downtime, which you don't need to do when you're overhauling these units. But that makes the overall total cost of ownership a lot lower. So reduced maintenance potentially, reduced overhaul makes an extremely efficient machine makes this a very livable product.
Simplify the points of failure basically to the bare minimum, effectively.
Correct. Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you very much for the explanation for that. So for our next question, I'd like to ask you, Louis, a UPS purchase is a significant long-term investment. How does Centiel guarantee its systems continues to be future-proof and adaptable to evolving demands, including but not limited to AI-driven workloads, sustainability requirements, and greater compliance standard implementations?
Yeah, these are great buzzwords, aren't they? I
Yes,
mean,
they are.
AI workloads, they are tricky. Good news is for us is that our UPS systems, even before, so we've got 2 modular UPS systems. We've got Cumulus Power, and then we've got the latest generation, the latest technology, which is Stratus. But we've been running AI workloads for several years. This is now like front page news. What effect is AI going to cause on the planet? We're building gigawatt data centers, multi-megawatt data centers, gigawatt data centers. Some of the standard terminology now is, for running AI is 100-megawatt data centers. And now,
Which is insane to think of these days.
It is. Microsoft, Google's, and everyone talking about gigawatt, Meta talking about gigawatt data centers. So yeah, how do we deliver that? Well, fundamentally, we designed a system that is scalable to that nth degree, where we can build whatever size UPS we want. Still, maintaining the features of modularity, hot swappability, high efficiency, all this stuff. But really, it's about how big, how fast. Those are the 2 questions. And what's the quality going to be like, and how do we live with it, and those things. But really, it's how big and how fast. So at the moment, at Centiel, on a global scale, we are delivering multi-megawatt data centers. And as we've previously discussed, we have to support those as well. Now, future demand, what do we do? So I don't think a UPS is just going to be about power protection anymore. It's not. We already know that.
Yeah, of course not.
This is about how we use a UPS to manage energy. So we're at the stage now where we're implementing a UPS system that will be future-proofed to then accept other forms of energy, renewables, wind, solar, to be able to utilize that energy as an energy storage unit. So the UPS is no longer just there just in case the power fails.
Sure.
It's utilizing renewable energy. It's utilizing potentially its battery bank simultaneously with the grid to maybe try and shave off peak energy points, might get a spike, or just generally to utilize energy to alleviate the grid, or maybe even pay back to the grid. So we have to be thinking forward. So our UPS, the technology in our UPS, is future-proof to then be able to accept these different energy forms. We can already accept different types of battery banks, and you've got lithium ion, VRLA, the standard, nickel, zinc, so on and so forth. So the UPS has to be ready to be able to accept all of those energy sources. And then, as we've previously discussed, how do we ready ourselves for the future? Well, we've kind of already done that with StratusPower by, saying to these, you've got multi megawatts of power. And as we said, that becomes, multi megawatts of electronics to look after. And that's multi megawatts of overhaul of UPS. So we can alleviate the pain of that. And as I said, we only overhaul our UPS within 15-year period. We're then effectively pitching a 30-year design life product. So we're sort of making data centers live for that amount of time without having to do any major works on their infrastructure or their power protection equipment. And then, the icing on the cake is then how do we bolt in, or when do we bolt in, or what does the client want to bolt in as regards to other energy sources, or maybe even running off grid completely. So we've got to be thinking, 1, 2, 3 steps ahead all the time. As far as AI and AI workloads, we can deal with those. We just, again, reiterate how big, what's the timescales, and we can achieve that.
So nowadays, customers have expectations of proof that a manufacturer can deliver what they aim to achieve. So by providing live site demos and factory acceptance testing to face-to-face meetings, how does Centiel cultivate that level of trust and transparency
Yeah.
with, let's say, new clients, as well as reinforcing the loyalty with existing ones?
Yeah. I think it's probably one of the most important things for us, to be honest. Centiel may be perceived as a young brand in the UK and potentially globally, but the heritage has been there. We've been doing this for 4 decades, I would say.
That's a long time.
The team in Switzerland at the moment are the team that sort of brought the first transformerless and true modularity of UPS products into the market. So we've got a lot of heritage. We still have to prove what we do as a brand. You know, we are Centiel, and when I talk to clients, I'm always saying, you know, this is a big investment for you. You know, you're talking maybe multi-megawatts. There's a lot of capex involved in that.
Yeah.
And again, as we were just saying a minute ago, you know, you're buying a product and joining a company that you're going to live alongside for the next 15 to 30 years. So we have to prove that. And the best way to prove that is the living proof, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, we aim to get the customers who are making that investment either to the factory or to a live site to physically see the equipment, see how it operates, see it under test, put it through its paces, get feedback from other customers that are living with the equipment and see, you know, what experience they're having, not just with how the UPS is performing, but also on the maintenance side. You know, all of our engineers are fully factory trained engineers. You are getting, you know, high quality from engineers. You're getting a high quality product. You know, we want to prove that investment that you're, you know, making is for the right reason. So that physical connection with the customer to the equipment is really important. But it's also really valuable that the customer gets to see the factory, because these are the people that have R&D the equipment, that have manufactured the equipment, post-sales support, technical support at the factory. And then you can see the processes and how we actually build the equipment and the testing regime that they go through before they leave the factory. And it's a really key experience for the customer.
See the entire life cycle, basically.
Yeah. And you then the customer sort of becomes part of Centiel, and you know they want to be part of it. It's quite impressive. I really like if we've been on a factory acceptance test or we've been on a customer visit to the factory, and then the customer starts selling the equipment back to me, and it's like I'm
gonna buy this actually.
It's done it. Yeah, exactly. It's sort of done its job. But that for me, that's the thing I'm really proud of is when customers sort of immediately feel comfortable with what they're procuring.
Amazing. Thank you. And then for my final question, thank you. So it'll be, data centers are growing all over the world. How does Centiel demonstrate its ability to deliver and support customers internationally with key elements such as ensuring consistent installations, service, and response times wherever they operate across the globe?
Yeah, so I mean, I hope these figures aren't out of date. We've probably grown a little bit since this, but we're currently covering 56 countries. We have something like 91 partners around Europe, Middle East, South and Central America. And the factory have 9 wholly owned subsidiaries, again, around Europe and Central America and the Middle East. So, yeah, it's extremely important, particularly when you're distributing equipment on a large scale, that there is a support network in place. When we install, I mean, Centiel UK, just for example, we're not just selling boxes to customers. We provide a turnkey. So we're able to go in, install the equipment, build the DC infrastructure, do all the DC cabling, size everything appropriately.
Got you.
And we work with certain subcontractors that are able to install our equipment to a high level. You know, it has to be immaculate. We are only as good as our last job. So everything, even down to labeling, you know, cables, the finer touches,
how fine details of the process.
Yeah, how we make off cables, everything, how we dress them, everything needs to be to a high level. You know, it's the battery bank is an important and integral part to a UPS system, and the UPS system is only as good as the battery bank attached to it, and the install and the infrastructure around it. And that's happening everywhere. So, it's really important the partners that sell the equipment and the subsidiaries and the people that we work through for our supply chain and our subcontractors are up to that high standard of what we're trying to deliver. So hopefully that remains consistent around the globe. And as we know, data centers are increasing rapidly globally. We're deploying multi-megawatts around the globe, and we need to be able to deliver that. We need to be able to deliver that.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. Thank you so very much for this conversation that we've had today. Much appreciated. If anyone wants to find out more details about Centiel, we'll be linking the website as well for more information down the line. And that's it. Thank you so very much. Have a lovely day.
Thanks.